Mania is in the books. The whole weekend is in the books officially now, as SmackDown Live was last night. The Smack. Wow, be professional, man. Jeez. I'm just kidding, but where was I?
Whoever the hell it was, I'll call you back later.
No, he won't.
Probably not, because it was a unknown number. I get those all the time. I think everybody gets calls like that all the time, so I never answer them.
Yes, but nevertheless, WrestleMania weekend is in the books, and pretty decent weekend. Although I feel like as a whole, it was pretty average in a way.
Yeah.
Especially Takeover, which we're going to start with, was actually pretty average. And a lot of people are saying, I didn't watch it. I know you didn't as well. We were kind of focusing on the whole Final Four going on.
Yeah, I'll watch it eventually, and I'll probably just watch the main event match for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Because I think the rest of the card just didn't. There's 4 matches.
There's 5. There was
ended up being 5. Yeah.
Yeah, they added a 5th one,
which kicked off the show.
Yeah.
Sanity.
Sanity took on Ty Dillinger, this Roxy, whatever the fuck, woman.
Ruby Riott.
What the fuck? Roderick Strong, and then it was supposed to be Noe Jose. He got beat up, replaced by Cassius Ohno.
Chris Hero.
With a new song. I don't know how recent that is.
Well, it's like, it just says "oh no," that's all it does.
Well, he used to have a different one when he was first in NXT, I know, but not going to talk about that. Sanity? No.
Sanity won.
Sanity won, okay, yeah. I thought so.
Sanity won.
Because that's the only thing I don't have down, but everything that happened that we thought was going to happen in our predictions last week, except for Asuka. She retained her title against Ember Moon.
Surprisingly.
Aleister Black, Tommy End debuted, beat Almas. What is it? Authors of Pain retained against the Revival and DIY, and then Bobby Roode retained his title against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
A lot of these people that were in those matches on the losing end showed up on WWE programming Monday or Tuesday night. 2 on SmackDown and another on Raw.
Yep.
I guess we'll just say it now. I guess we're not going to probably go too much into Raw and SmackDown. We're going to get into something that Raw did later. They announced Vince McMahon. Yep. He showed up on Raw. The whole Superstar shakeup that's going to be going down. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, we're not actually going to talk about Raw too much, I don't think, as a whole, or SmackDown. Well, go super into it at least.
Well, McMahon announced the Superstar shakeup for next week on Raw. He also announced a new general manager for Monday Night Raw. It's true. It's damn true. Kurt Angle's the new general manager of Monday Night Raw. Stephanie is going to be out of action for a little bit.
Because of what happened at WrestleMania.
But
which, of course, we're getting to. Give us time.
She'll be out of action for a little bit. So Angle's going to run the show. Superstar shakeup. Probably just going to be some trades.
Essentially trades, yeah.
Something along those lines. I really don't know because I've never done this before.
It'll probably be like a draft.
But we'll get into that at the end of the show.
Yeah, at the end of this portion. But going in back to these guys that lost, Nakamura, he showed up on SmackDown last night. Also, Ty Dillinger did as well.
Yeah.
Shinsuke didn't have a match on TV. He did defeat Dolph Ziggler in a dark match.
Yep.
And then Ty Dillinger beat resident jobber Kurt Hawkins, who came back to job, I guess, for some reason. I'm surprised he hasn't left already.
He's making money.
I guess that must be the reason. And then the Revival showed up on Raw and defeated the New Day, of all teams, really, in their first match. You'd expect considering they are heels, if they wanted to, they could have a face like the Golden Truth or something. But New Day, I think that's one of the reasons why, when we get to the Superstar shakeup, they might be involved in that.
Yeah.
The New Day will be. But Takeover, like I said, wasn't that great. I'm going to have to agree with them, I guess. I don't have anything that says that it was different otherwise, because I didn't watch it. But I'm sure if anyone else watched it, they can tell me, they can tell us if it was all right or not. But in the past, I'm sure it wasn't as good as other takeovers have been, like Brooklyn, San Antonio.
Well, with those, they had more matches on the card. This, going into it, only had 4, ended up being 5, and stuff just, they got to space it out, and stuff just drags on.
Speaking of dragging.
Well, before we get into that, you forgot Finn Balor came back on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was mentioning the NXT guys that came out. But, Finn Balor showed up on Raw as well.
He returned.
as obvious as anything after Chris Jericho got knocked out.
Yeah.
But WrestleMania then, speaking of dragging, ended up being a total, including pre-show, 7 whole hours long.
Yeah.
Pre-show started at 5. The show was over at midnight, a little past midnight. A lot of that due to what happened in the main event. There's a long ending to that, I guess. I guess not ending, more of like a continuation after the ending or whatever you want to call it. But show, pretty good, I would have to say. Better than some have been. Definitely a great WWE show that we've seen in a while, I have to say.
I thought WrestleMania
Which it should be. It's
great.
WrestleMania. It's the biggest one.
Yeah, I thought it was better than last year's. I thought it was better than 31, with the one exception of Seth Rollins cashing it at the end.
Yeah.
And then 30 was obviously good. You had Hulk Hogan, you had Stone Cold, and you had The Rock, kick off the show. And then you have the Yes movement with Daniel Bryan finally winning a championship, a WWE championship, that is, at the end of the show. So, and then with years, before that, this really, I think this will go down as maybe one of the best WrestleManias of all time, just because of how the card was, with how some of the matches went, with some returns that happened, especially we talk about it with, everybody's going to talk about, Balor coming back and Nakamura debuting on Raw and SmackDown. I just thought the whole weekend was great. Started with the Hall of Fame ceremony on Friday night, and then, get into WrestleMania now on Sunday.
Yeah. Kicking off the show, Shane McMahon taking on AJ Styles, which is kind of an interesting way to open the show. But honestly, for me, my favorite match of the entire night, wrestling-wise, because surprisingly, Shane actually did do some things. I thought AJ was going to carry the match the whole way, and he essentially did, because he's AJ Styles. He's phenomenal. We know that. But I like what they did in this match. Shane looked actually pretty good wrestling, not just jumping off of stuff. He did and was able to do that at one point during the match. Cause,
the ref got knocked out.
Yeah, they got the ref bump and they were able to do a coast-to-coast. He countered Styles' attempt at it and then did his own. And then nicely, with the ref back up, table spot, announcer table spot, AJ moves out of the way. Great. And then making Shane look like a threat to Styles almost in a way, which isn't the best thing, but allowing AJ to kind of come to respect Shane, which they did on SmackDown then, with him shaking his hand on SmackDown then. And then the next match, grades I guess, B+ match for me.
I didn't have a problem with it. Just the only thing, just surprised, kicked off the show.
Yeah.
But with how the rest of the card played out,
I think all these matches are pretty well placed, honestly, in terms of
it was the right call.
In terms of where they were, in terms of getting excitement going and stuff like that. And this was a good way to start off the show, especially with a guy like AJ Styles that fans really love. Definitely a way to kick off the show with a bang. And then you had the United States Championship match. Kevin Owens taking on Chris Jericho, and the expected happens. Kevin Owens wins the United States Championship, his first title, the reign for U.S. title now. Yeah. He's held every title really except for the tag team so far already. 2 times
something Jericho has done.
Only recently done.
He's held all 4 of those titles. So now Owens is only 1 title reign for the tag team titles behind him, and what they call it, the
something to the extent of Grand Slam type thing.
Yeah, the Grand Slam of WWE Championship, something along those lines. That's what they called it. So Owens won the United States Championship.
Yeah, another pretty good match, really decent. There's not much to say about this match. Nothing too spectacular happened in this match. It was just straightforward, I feel like. It was good, though, in a great way. Again, early in the show, keep the fans interested, keep it going.
I talked to you earlier about it. I really didn't like the finish.
Yeah.
He just did a pop-up powerbomb on the apron, and then he pinned him. But you had said, and I agree with you, it just does. It does make him look stronger. It makes the move look strong as well.
Yeah.
And both of those matches were very long.
Yeah,
it took an hour.
Very long. Yeah,
both those matches combined took an hour.
I was saying that. It's like it's 9 o'clock already.
Yeah,
but
8.
Oh yeah, 8.
Because it started at 7.
I'm like, we're an hour in. There's only 2
because you had the pre-show. You had
so
3 matches on the pre-show from 6 to 7. Mojo Rawley won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I'm not surprised about that. Neville defeated Aries, and surprisingly, Dean Ambrose retained against Baron Corbin. I was surprised about that Ambrose retained, but yeah, the first two matches on the main card, they took an hour.
Yeah.
And it made the other stuff, to get pushed back a little bit, and the reason
why I went forever
to midnight, a little past midnight. So
yeah, and then the next match you had was the Raw Women's Fatal 4-Way Elimination. Yep. Bayley wins that one. Another very straightforward match, I felt like. They kept Nia looking strong, though. I like that, even though she was the first eliminated, because it took all three competitors, Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte, to take her out with a triple power bomb. And then Sasha gets taken out, and then it's just a Bayley-Charlotte thing again, which many thought it was going to be Sasha-Bayley, maybe the heel turn from Sasha against Bayley thing, but straightforward. She wins with an elbow drop, which I think was kind of surprising for many, and myself included. Just an average match for me. It felt like it could have been like a bigger Raw match to me. Yeah. It wasn't anything too special. And again, the placement of this works because the next match then was the tag team match. Tag team ladder match, triple threat, except hold on, here comes the New Day. It's not a triple threat. There's one more team in the match. And, of course, they play it off. Oh, it's going to be us because they're walking. They might be walking down. And then it's the Hardy Boys. Their music hits the old Jeff theme, or tag team. That was always their tag team theme. But Jeff's singles theme for the most part. Yeah. But they come down. A lot of people are probably disappointed about the whole broken Matt Hardy thing being nixed a bit.
Well, there's nothing really they can do about it at the moment.
I know.
Just because, the Hardys, they've been in TNA for the past 7-8 years. And just this past summer, I was actually the one who told you about broken Matt Hardy when he first debuted. And he looked...
Because no one watched TNA.
No, well, I do. I still do. Because it's wrestling. And I mean, it's getting there. They're getting it back on track, but I don't think it's, going to be in, they're not going to be a company for very much longer. But when he first debuted, he looked like Seth Rollins. And he still does. He still has a blonde, white stripe in his hair. But then they left TNA after, 7-8 years, as I said, and went to Ring of Honor, where they were at before, and they won the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships from the Young Bucks at Manhattan Mayhem, a couple weeks ago. And then the night before WrestleMania at Supercard of Honor, we talked about last week a little bit, again, they defended their titles against the Young Bucks, and then they lost, and that's why I brought it up last week. I thought there was a good chance if they did lose, they would re-debut, come back, return, whatever the hell you want to call it, either during WrestleMania or Raw or SmackDown. They came out during WrestleMania. Place went nuts.
Yeah, and of course they had to win because they're going to make it this monumental return. They should be winning. If they would have lost, it would have taken the whole air out of the place, I feel like, a little bit.
And with the broken Matt Hardy thing, the Hardys are in court with TNA at the moment for the rights to that, saying who came up with the idea. So once that plays out, maybe broken Matt Hardy will come to WWE. Give it some time. I think it will. But I think the fans are happy that the Hardys just have returned to the WWE. Yeah,
but the match itself, pretty good. Solid ladder match. Had the signature Jeff Hardy jump off a giant ladder spot. Swantoning Sheamus and Cesaro. Only really Cesaro really threw a ladder.
Well, Sheamus got hit. The ladder just didn't break.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like putting Cesaro through a ladder, not Sheamus, because of course he only got hit by the legs of Jeff Hardy.
You can check that out on Botchamania.
Maybe. I mean, it's not so much of a botch. It's just kind of an unfortunate thing. It's like when the announce table doesn't break.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They put that on there before, so I'm pretty sure it would be on Botchamania.
Yeah, instead of I am the table, it's I am the ladder now. But good match, decent. Yeah. Again, nothing super special. The return was pretty much the moment for that match, really, in all honesty. But then you move on to my least favorite match of the night. I think the worst match of the night. John Cena, Nikki Bella, Miz and Maurice. Cena and Bella win in what ended up being pretty much a squash match.
Because
really the Miz dominated for about 5 minutes, and then John Cena got the hot tag on Nikki, and then the match was over in another 2. They dominated them. They did the same exact spots that they did like the weeks prior on SmackDown Live with James Ellsworth and Carmella, and also Breezango just Breezango, I guess, because that's the team.
It was
Fandango and Breezy Bella.
Yeah, Breezy Bella. I'm trying to remember what they call
the tandem. You can't see me fight Knuckle Shuffle and finishers, whole shtick. Like, it ended up being basically a squash. Does a proposal at the end, which was the moment which I felt could have happened even if they lost, which I think they should have lost. I think the wrong team won here.
That's what I said last week. They should have had Miz and Maurice win because Cena and Bella are going to be leaving.
Yeah, that too.
Puts Miz over then. But then, Cena and Nikki Bella obviously win, and then Miz just goes back down to the mid card.
Miz looks incredibly weak.
But I think he'll be one of the top guys on SmackDown though now.
He should be.
Just because of Cena being gone.
Yeah, but
we talked about Nakamura debut, and I think they'll get into a feud.
Yeah, but you look at the whole feud as itself. John Cena and Nikki Bella really dominated this entire feud for the most part. I think Miz and Maurice only got really one up on them. I mean, you can count some of the promos that they did were great, but then John Cena, of course, comes back at them and it kind of levels things out.
Yeah,
and plus John Cena saying that Miz is no threat to him, they're going to crush you, and then they do it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, it makes the Miz look incredibly weak. Luckily, fans still love The Miz. They were cheering for The Miz in this freaking match, for crying out loud. They love him. And even on SmackDown, when Miz and Maurice came out as John Cena and Nikki Bella, reprising their roles on Total Bella Bullshit, the segments from the couple weeks prior.
And then Nakamura came out.
So. Yeah, randomly.
I didn't think his debut. I don't think they should have had the guy playing the violin. I think they just should have had his music hit.
Yeah,
and I think the place would have went more ballistic than what they did. Just because the fans love Shinsuke Nakamura and they're in NXT's backyard.
Yeah, that too.
Still in Orlando.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but that match, because even if this match, John Cena and Nikki Bella, they could have still lost, and it still would have worked out fine, the whole proposal thing. Also, because it's like, oh, I know we lost, but like here's like a consolation prize type deal.
Yeah.
Will you marry me type thing? Yeah. Like, it would have worked either way. Like, it doesn't matter. And now you make The Miz look incredibly weak, although he's The Miz. He'll rebound, I'm sure, because he's one of the best heels, if not the best heel on the main roster right now, for sure. And then you had Triple H taking on Seth Rollins in this match. This match was pretty good. Non-sanctioned, which means anything can happen, anything goes. And with that stipulation, I thought, oh, someone's coming out. People are going to get involved in this match. No one really got involved. Only Stephanie McMahon, who came out with Triple H, of course, got into the match at all, and she ended up going through a table.
That's why she's out of action.
But Rollins wins the match. Basically, what I said was going to happen in our predictions video happened. Triple H is going to work the knee. He's going to beat down Seth Rollins' knee, and then Rollins is going to rebound, win. That's pretty much what happened. Nice spots throughout. The trading of pedigree attempts was kind of interesting. And for having Seth Rollins to beat Triple H with the pedigree, I don't know what that means, if that has any symbolism to it at all.
I think they would have done something if Rollins wouldn't have got hurt. I think the match would have been, say, for the pedigree, but you can't say Triple H will not return, say next year in WrestleMania. So they could be saving that for, God knows when. If he wants to put over another NXT talent, say like Kevin Owens or Samoa Joe next year. I thought this match was great. The entrances were both badass, I thought. Triple H's normally are at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he goes over the top for it.
Well, because he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's the son-in-law of the CEO of the company, Vince McMahon. And then with Rollins, he had the torch, and then he lit the ramp, and it caught fire through technology. But I thought the match was great.
Yeah.
And it ended, I think it ended the right way with Stephanie going through the table and, with Rollins using the
I didn't like that too much because it mimicked last year's main event with him and Reigns.
Well, she didn't go through a table last year. She got speared.
Well, she had to take a bump is the thing even though Triple H technically hit her, like it was Seth Rollins' super kick, Triple H into her. But still, Stephanie takes a bump. The babyface wins following that. Like, pretty much the same thing happened.
But now,
just in different contexts.
Something Triple H has created, the Shield. He's put all 3 of those guys over. Last year at Roadblock, right before WrestleMania, he's put over Ambrose, just not for a championship match or a big singles match. And then he lost to Reigns last year at WrestleMania, and now Rollins. And I think it goes in that order. I think Rollins is the best wrestler out of all of them, and then the top dog, the big dog now, or as what WWE wants you to think is the big dog, Roman Reigns, and then Ambrose, because Ambrose is the mid-card guy. He's the Intercontinental Champion, and he's getting the short end of the stick. But Triple H, the creator, the destroyer, he created the Shield. He didn't destroy it. He's put them all over, and it's good. It's best for business, as they like to say.
Yeah. And then after that match, we started getting into our main event trio of matches, starting with Bray Wyatt taking on Randy Orton. And this was honestly not very great. I would have to probably maybe put it second worst, maybe even third, right up there with the SmackDown Women's title match, I think, which is actually later on, surprisingly.
Surprisingly, after it was on the pre-show, and
at first
people were throwing a hissy fit about it, and they had to put it back on the main card. So
yeah, but Randy Orton winning, getting his 13th WWE Championship reign now. Fourth all time? I guess it would be.
Behind Flair, Cena, Triple H, now him, yeah.
Yes. But he probably shouldn't have won. I don't think he should have won. No one wanted him to win. People were actually booing him, I think.
He didn't even get a pop when he came out on SmackDown last night.
Yeah, because
normally
people wanted Bray to win, obviously. And Bray really should have won, because he had only won the title at Elimination Chamber for crying out loud.
And he held it for
like
almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. That was a little bit longer than his tag team title reign with Randy Orton. Or against the Wyatt family, because technically Luke Harper could be involved in tag team matches. They had the New Day thing going on, the Freebird rule, as they call it, where any combination can be in the tag match. But should have kept the title on him. It wasn't that great of a match. The whole projection thing was weird, and
I like that, because they've never done anything like that before.
The first time was all right, and then they did 2 more times, and it was kind of overkill, and it was kind of gimmicky, cartoony kind of crap in terms of Bray Wyatt. It's like, it's just a projection. It's just a projection, nothing too special. Like, there's a lot of speculation of some crazy stuff happening possibly in this match, like
a debut of Sister Abigail,
something like that.
Somebody returning like Eric Rowan, who didn't return until SmackDown.
Yeah, all you got were some projections of maggots and cockroaches and I guess worms. It was covered in dirt, and then on SmackDown, Randy Orton did not get the pop, as we mentioned. Then we had Goldberg-Lesnar, which was the best of their encounters easily. Yeah. Had the most wrestling excitement, I guess, even though the WrestleMania 20 match was probably the longest encounter at wrestling match, at least. But Brock Lesnar winning, conquering Goldberg now, 2-1, even though he's not even with him in terms of match wins. But he wins the Universal title.
But I think with the Universal title, I think that puts that over the top.
But another quick one, though. It was only about 5 minutes.
Well, at least it wasn't 20 seconds.
Yeah.
A minute and a half.
But Lesnar comes out, trio of German suplexes, then gets speared 3 times in succession. We're like, oh no, here we go again. And then he kicks out of a jackhammer, which was, the place went nuts for that, because they realized, oh yes, here we go, Lesnar's actually going to win. And then he just absolutely does what he did to John Cena at SummerSlam a couple years ago. Suplexes him a whole bunch. F5. That's
10 times what it was.
It ended up being 10. Yeah. And then F5, Universal Champion now. Brock Lesnar. And people are seeing it now. Paul Heyman referenced it. Wants to go Roman Reigns now, because they're the 2 in 23-2.
Yep, but I don't think that match. The earliest it will happen will be SummerSlam. The latest it's going to be next year at WrestleMania. They probably should have it at SummerSlam, because with Lesnar's schedule, there's not going to be a Universal title match at Payback. I'm telling you right now. They're going to have a number 1 contenders match probably for the main event, or the rematch between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho for the United States Championship. would be the main event at Payback. Just because of Lesnar's schedule, he's not going to be around for a lot within the next couple months. So it's good that they put the title on him, but at the same time, it's bad because he's not going to be around. They need a champion on Raw, just like they do on SmackDown. So I'm happy Lesnar won. He's one of my favorites, always has been. I'm glad Goldberg's done now. You know, he really didn't get the send-off, that a lot of people would have liked, I think. Just because once the match ended, he just walked out. But after Raw got over on Raw Talk, he came out and talked to the fans. And more than likely, his career is done. I said it a couple weeks ago, last week too. He cannot wrestle anymore. He just needs to hang it up. But it was exciting there for a little part of it when he did come back, but the fans just started to hate him once they figured out that he could not wrestle anymore. And so Lesnar beat Goldberg.
Really could.
Huh?
Never really could.
No, he's a former football player, and all he does is spear people and jackhammer people. Look at Roman Reigns, for instance. He's a former football player. He spears people. He does a Samoan drop, a lot like the jackhammer. Lesnar's a former NFL football player.
Well, he was already wrestling before that.
But yeah, he was a collegiate wrestler. He did play college football in Minnesota as well, but Lesnar also was in the UFC. He actually knows how to fight. So I'm glad they had Lesnar win and didn't have Goldberg retain, as you said. During the middle of the match, it looked like Goldberg was going to retain. So happy Lesnar won, and then the next match was the women's.
SmackDown Women's Championship. Six-pack challenge with Naomi wins, as we and pretty much everyone else saw coming.
Yeah.
With her being inserted into the match, she wins. Not much to talk about.
Go check her. Right. Go check her Wikipedia page. She lives in Orlando, Florida. She's not from Orlando. I said it last week. She lives in Orlando. She's not from Orlando. Orlando is not her hometown. It's where she currently resides. There's a difference.
Well, maybe she considers it a home, and that's probably what is.
That's a good point, but I think it's stupid.
Yeah, and then you had the main event: Roman Reigns, Undertaker. Already pretty much gave it away. Roman Reigns wins. He's now the 2 in 23-2.
Yeah.
And Undertaker's last match. You gotta think it after what happened post match. Him basically putting all of his gear in the ring. With the gloves, the coat, the hat, and leaving. Not only that, but kissing his wife on the way out.
Yeah, he's never broke character before. Never.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big telltale sign right there.
His wife, by the way, is Michelle McCool, former diva.
Yes.
It's actually his third wife, but still, it's his wife.
But the match itself was, it was all right. Nothing too spectacular, because of course the Undertaker can't obviously go as much as he could before. He's obviously gotten a lot older.
Yeah.
And Roman's good, but he's not like an AJ Styles being able to carry the Undertaker through this match, which I think a guy like Styles, a great wrestler. I'm not saying Roman's terrible. People hate Roman. I don't think people actually hate Roman as much as that they hate that Roman's being pushed so much, is the fact.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't actually hate Roman. They hate what they're doing with Roman more so than anything else, I feel like. That's kind of an aside. But took 3 spears to take out the Undertaker. Technically, it was 4 because he put one through a table with one of them. But 3, and then the final pin there. Pretty good match. One huge botch. Couldn't do the reverse of the tombstone. Which, you can kind of put on the fact that
he's how old.
I don't think he's really capable working that spot too well anymore. We've seen it done in the past, him doing that. I think he did it with Kane a couple times.
I'm surprised Kane didn't come out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, honestly. Was he in the Battle Royal, by the way? No, which is also surprising.
No, he's running for mayor for
Woodinby, Tennessee.
In Tennessee, where he lives at. So who knows how much longer he'll be around.
Yeah.
I don't think very long if he does get elected. I mean, you look at Rhino, he's run for office, he's won. He didn't get reelected, and that's why he's still in WWE. If he would have got reelected, I don't think Rhino. I think Slater, they could give him a push just because with the comedy act he could run. But with him being still in a tag team with Rhino, I mean, hell, they might as well get the band back together now. Drew McIntyre came back. He's down in NXT. Once he comes up, Jinder's already up there on the main roster. Why don't you get the 3-man band back together with Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre? But The Undertaker, I mean, 23-2, WrestleMania. Had one hell of a career. He's done his time, and I think the time was right for him to hang it up. Was Roman Reigns the right guy to retire him? I don't think so. Undertaker actually wanted to face John Cena in his last match, but with how Vince wants it to go, he wants it 23-2 with the Heyman Lesnar, combo. You got those two facing, and then Lesnar puts over Reigns one time here in the future, and then Roman Reigns is the big dog of the company. It's his yard, as he said on Monday Night Raw. That's all he said on Monday Night Raw. And the opening segment, if you watch Monday Night Raw this past week. Great segment, we both thought. Just because of how the fans were acting, and that's all he needed to say. But The Undertaker, more than likely done. We said it last week, though, superstars retire and they still come back. Look at Ric Flair. 9 years ago, he got retired by Shawn Michaels in Orlando at WrestleMania 24, and he's still around. And one of the main reasons is Charlotte, but I think the Dead Man will be back, just a matter of when. Supposedly he had surgery this morning on his hip already, so maybe that's a little bit of a sign. They're trying to get the surgery done, get the recovery. Who knows? He could come back in time for next year at WrestleMania and screw, say, Roman Reigns. But we'll have to see about that. So rest in peace, Dead Man. You had one hell of a career.
Mm-hmm. So
one of the most one of the fan favorites, one of the best superstars of all time.
Mm-hmm, for sure. As for the show as a whole, I thought it was good. I think I gave it a B show.
Yeah, I thought, as I said earlier, I thought it was one of the best WrestleManias in a while.
Yeah, it was good. Not great, because there's no real matches I felt like were A+, like 5-star, whatever, 4-star, whatever grading scale you want to go on. But none of the matches were like super fantastic. There was not really any moments. There were like minor moments, the Hardy's returning and the Undertaker retiring.
Mm-hmm.
That was really it, I feel like. And of course you had all of entrances, which again, as an aside, about the longest ramp in ever.
They said it was 80 yards. I don't think it was 80 yards, but
I mean,
it was pretty damn long.
It was pretty damn long. I really liked how they had the Undertaker come out about the middle of that because his entrance would have been twice as long if they didn't. Because him walking down there. Well, I initially thought they should better have him like on some sort of chariot or something to come down.
Well, they had him come up and they had him go back down.
Yeah, which I feel like was good in the end, especially with the result, the whole going down the ramp thing and coming up. That ended up working out in the end, I feel like. But yeah, pretty good pay-per-view. But let's kind of go into this whole superstar shakeup thing they got going on.
Yeah.
Supposed to be happening next week on Raw. So I think it'll only happen on Raw, I'm sure, I think. I don't know
more than likely, I don't think it happened on SmackDown because they had the draft on SmackDown, first ever live edition of SmackDown Live, back in July.
Yeah, so
with 3 hours, I think there's a little bit more you can do.
Yeah, plus it probably won't be like a whole show event type thing, It'll probably just be like a segment on the show, probably. It's probably going to go throughout the whole show. Yeah, I guess so.
They'll have little backstage segments, and then I think at the end, they might have somebody return or
they'll save
something for the very end of the show.
A huge move in the end, something like that. Yeah, that'll work.
So I think that's
just have it mixed in and then something huge at the end. I think that I think that's how they'll do it, actually.
But I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be made either.
Yeah. Well, I think they might make some bigger changes. We'll start with one that I know we agree on. That's the New Day.
Yeah,
going to SmackDown, because the SmackDown tag division is very weak. They only really have the Usos and American Alpha, really. So adding the New Day adds another face team, which they can go after the Usos, who are the heels, for the titles now. Second straight week, or however many weeks out of the last however many, no tag team stuff on SmackDown this past week.
No.
They didn't have a match at WrestleMania either.
Well, they're in the Battle Royal. Yeah.
But it wasn't a tag team match. But they're kind of getting the shaft a little bit at times. So New Day, for one. For me, I have some bigger ones, really big ones, actually. I'll start with a smaller one. Sami Zayn to SmackDown.
I agree with that.
It's been hinted at so many times already, I feel like. And I think SmackDown will be a better home for Sami Zayn. He'd be treated a lot better. And he would have more opportunity. Obviously, land of opportunity, SmackDown. Live. Which is probably the stupidest thing about the SmackDown. That live's in the title.
Well, they got changed up every once in a while.
But Sami Zayn, I think you had Sami Zayn as well.
Yeah, I had Sami Zayn.
Here's another big one that I think you're not going to agree on for sure. Charlotte to SmackDown.
No, I think they keep her on Raw. I think if they did.
Oh, but I have I'm kind of going through Raw right now. It seems like.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be a bad move. I just don't agree with it.
Well, I have a return from SmackDown then, like someone coming over from SmackDown in return, even it out. So when I guess I'm going to go through Raw and SmackDown. That's the way it's going so far, at least as I go through, unless I forget anything else. But AJ Styles to Raw, even though the promo and stuff, I think that might be.
There's a chance, but I think for now, I think they keep him on SmackDown for right now. You know, just because with Shinsuke getting brought up, you know, the Miz, Cena leaving, the Miz is going to be one of the top guys along with Shinsuke, but then Styles has been around there as well, so I think he keeps Styles and have him be one of the top faces on or heel, whatever know they want him to do on SmackDown Live. So I think Styles stays on SmackDown for a little bit. And who knows, a superstar shakeup, this could drag on for a couple months. They could do something they've never done before, unlike just a draft. And they could trade Styles from SmackDown to Raw in the middle of the summer if they wanted to. They could do something like that. I wouldn't mind that, but I think for right now, I think it's best for him to stay on SmackDown.
All right. Definitely a huge one. Could be, like you're saying, end of the show type thing. Either Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns to SmackDown.
Well, if they put Roman on SmackDown, that crowd's going to go nuts and cheer that he's leaving Raw. But then they'll have him open up SmackDown the next night, and everybody's going to boo the hell out of him again. I wouldn't mind seeing either of them on SmackDown. I think it would be good. Now, if you do put one of them, say Styles, or maybe hell, even Dolph Ziggler.
That's Dolph Ziggler to Raw.
Would have to be in return.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do that, they do. There's nothing we can do about it. But I wouldn't mind seeing either of them, as I said. But it's just, what are they going to get in return?
Yeah.
Is a thing. So.
And then John Cena and Nikki Bella to Raw.
I don't think they're going to move them at all. They're just going to be on SmackDown, but they're just going to be gone from now until whenever the hell they come back. So I don't think they touch them.
All right. I know you had a lot of just.
I just had tag teams pretty much.
Yeah.
Along with what you had, New Day, Sami Zayn. I mean, I could see Charlotte. I think they keep her on Raw. Sheamus and Cesaro, I think they could move to SmackDown, but you brought up they are the number one contenders, new number one contenders for the Raw tag team titles against the Hardys. So they, as I said though, if they drag this out, they could still put them on SmackDown. It'd be good for both of them. They are getting a lot of time on Raw, but I think they'd get even more time on SmackDown.
Well, not the way that tag teams are getting time on SmackDown.
Well, if they put them, take the New Day over, they're going to get time. They're not going to have a show without the New Day. The Golden Truth And Rusev, once he returns, so I'm not going to really throw him into that because he's injured right now. And then people from SmackDown should go to Raw. Apollo Crews could be one in return. I could see Kurt Angle really liking him for some reason. Maybe just because he thinks he's a lot like him. He's bald. He's short. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But then the other tag teams that should go from SmackDown to Raw, the Ascension, the Fashion Police, and American Alpha. Just because if they put the New Day on SmackDown, it put their division, I wouldn't say over the top, but it'd make it better. But with how the SmackDown division is currently, I think you switch some tag teams, it evens the playing field out again. You get a little bit of this, get a little bit of that every single week or every couple weeks. And we talked about Talking Smack. You think that's like the third hour of SmackDown. It is, but there's no matches, and people who only have the network can watch it. I think if they made SmackDown, say, 2.5 hours instead of just 2, I think especially with the tag team division, some more backstage segments, but at the same time, you don't want to have too much. I think they're perfect where they're at. So if they stay at 2 hours, it is what it is. I really don't know what they're going to do with the Superstar Shakeup, because they've never done it before. It's a little hard to tell, but hopefully something interesting happens.
Oh, it will.
It's WWE, for God's sakes, well. So, yeah, hopefully something happens.
Yep.
I really don't know what else to say. We've been going on for a while now, so my mind's starting to blow up. Yeah, I guess you could say.
So that's what we thought about the whole WrestleMania weekend, I guess you could say. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you guys like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ATGL16. Follow Luke and myself on Twitter as well. Luke is at QuenLuke96. Yep. I am at CAMains14 on the Twitter.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram. WrestleMania was good.
Yeah, it was good.
As I said, I thought it was better than years past, and hopefully next year they can do a little bit better. They're going to New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, just where they were for WrestleMania 30 4 years ago. And I don't know anything else to say.
Nope. And for that, I guess,
we'll see you next week.
See you next week right here on Across the Goal Line.